watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Devils, welcome to GHS Insider. You know, the show that's all about the G. I'm Ternice Anderson. Coming up on the show, we catch up with seniors Lilly Roberts and Alexa Morris to learn about their advocacy efforts in sports and literacy.
Poems really help you express yourself, and they really allow students to adventure into many other literacy practices that they wouldn't have.
Plus, GHS students on the virtual acting stage. We go inside the theater department's annual acting festival.
I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you guys.
And later, sports are back, but with precautions. Find out what's being done to keep athletes safe.
All of our athletes are going to go through a temperature check, also COVID screening questions. We also have plenty of hand sanitizer and wipes out here.
But first, Red Devils made their way back to campus in March. More than 180 students chose in-person learning when the district reopened schools. For some, it was their first time back on campus. Every precaution is being taken to keep students and teachers safe, like hand sanitizer stations and social distancing. Face masks must be worn at all times.
All the classes I've been in, they have wipes and hand sanitizer ready for us when we come in so we can wipe down everything that we need.
I believe it is helpful to be back in campus because your motivation increases. Like when you are at home doing virtual, you're just sitting around, your brain is not really moving and functioning. But when you go out through school, I have heard a lot of students say so far, I've been getting my work done.
Every morning, students are required to get their temperature checked before entering any building. If a student fails a temperature check or shows any symptoms of COVID-19, they will be relocated to GHS's designated safe room for further evaluation. Although minorities make up more than half of our population, proper racial representation in history is often absent. GHS Insider reporter Maya Mitchell talks with students and educators to discuss this lack of diversity.
Note the color difference. People in the front, people in the back. What's the difference?
Studies show that minorities make up nearly 60% of the nation's population. However, accurate racial representation in school history books is scarce.
I do believe that a lot of the events that we are taught in school are one-sided. I feel that there are parts that other races that have contributed to history are not covered.
I think you get this fifth grade generic version about Andrew Jackson or Daniel Boone coming over, or Davy Crockett going to the Alamo, and it's just not actually diving into what has shaped modern Tennessee.
Tough topics that many feel should be included in the curriculum simply aren't there.
If we were to include some of the events that I talked about in Tennessee's history curriculum, I think it would be a rude awakening to a good amount of people, even well-intentioned people who just simply have not learned American history or haven't learned true Tennessee history.
Events like the Memphis Massacre of 1866, the Reconstruction period, and sharecropping are examples of our local African American history, but rarely talked about.
For instance, the American Revolution. I know that there are parts about who fought in the war that are Caucasian, but there are parts that are left out about the African Americans that fought in the war.
Racial tensions and violence towards the Asian community following World War II also isn't talked about to the degree that it should be. But this isn't where the lack of diversity stops.
I believe that it disregards a lot of racial and ethnic groups such as Asian, Hispanic, Native, and so forth.
Students I talked with even say they learn their history everywhere but the classroom.
I learned that history from my parents, my grandparents. Even social media can teach you something now.
Tennessee State Board of Education member Darrell Cobbins is an advocate for diversity in the curriculum.
One major part of education is ensuring that the process of educating produces citizens who are knowledgeable. And so we have to be mature enough to be able to have those tough conversations to make sure that we foster understanding and again, not repeat those mistakes of the past.
Reporting for GHS Insider, I'm Maya Mitchell.
Campus Corner is a little different this month. Instead of highlighting things happening on campus, we're putting the spotlight on a senior. Here's Madison Ricks to introduce our special guest.
Senior Lilly Roberts is a fellow GHS Red Devil who is leading by example. Not only is she an IB student, she is an athlete and has started multiple clubs here at GHS. Most recently, she represented our school at Girls Fest, a virtual event highlighting female athletes around the country. She joins me now. Lilly, it's great to talk with you.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm super happy to be here.
You're the salutatorian for the class of 2021. What does the recognition mean to you?
Ooh, I think to me, when I heard that I was the salutatorian, I was obviously very excited. But I think to me, it's not specifically about like the grades. It's not about the letter. It's not about the number. It's really about all the work that I put in to get here and to continue going and like what this says about what I'm able to do in the future. And so when I heard that I was the salutatorian, I was excited, but honestly, I was just really, really proud of myself and all that I've done to get here. So I'd say pride is what I felt overwhelmingly.
You're also the founder and president of Girl Up and got involved in many extracurricular activities. Did you ever feel like it was too much to balance?
Yeah, actually. And then I got a concussion. So I remember distinctly in sophomore year, I went to see Dr. Keller because she's the IB coordinator. And I was telling her, I feel really overwhelmed. I think I'm doing too many clubs and I'm in sports and all the school and so many expectations. And she gave me an analogy about like juggling plates. And then of course I got a concussion the next day playing soccer. And then I couldn't do anything at all. And it felt terrible. I was like, being me isn't about doing just one thing. It's about being able to balance all of these. And I'd say now at the end of senior year, I've gotten a much better grasp at what that balance means to me and like what I'm capable of doing and also what I'm interested in. Like if I'm doing what I'm interested in, then it doesn't feel like too much. Like you mentioned Girl Up, I'm also now the Tennessee Coalition president and founder, and we're working on recruiting new clubs. And it's absolutely amazing. And I love every single minute of it. So yes, I felt overwhelmed at times, but just as I've gone on, I've learned what I'm interested in, and that has helped me learn how to balance everything that I do.
Let's talk about Girls Fest. How did you participate in? What was that experience like?
Oh my goodness, it was amazing. I was on a Skype call with a bunch of famous people. And so it was really cool. I got the opportunity actually through Girl Up because I've done a lot of sports for a purpose events with Girl Up. Got to give a shout out to Sydney Chase for helping us lead our workout Wednesdays every week at the beginning of the pandemic. But then Girl Up kind of saw that. They gave us notice for different things. And so they offered me this opportunity to kind of advertise about Girl Up and also just speak to my own athletic and leadership experiences. And so going to Girls Fest, I was on a panel with Tatiana McFadden, who's like a 20-something time Paralympic gold medalist, also with Yasmin Sanchez, who is a 2019 Billie Jean King Youth Leadership Award recipient, and she did really cool stuff with youth soccer in New York. And so to be on this panel with these other amazing women and amazing athletes was absolutely inspiring to me. And I hope that my words could inspire other girls just as much as I was. I was like, why does my gender have any bearing on my ability? And so I kind of carried that passion forward with me just through playing sports on my own and trying to get other girls involved in sports as well.
Well, Lilly, thanks for being on the show. This was a great conversation.
Of course. Thanks y'all for having me.
Coming up on GHS Insider, the pandemic benched the varsity football team. So what's next? Coach Robinson weighs in. We'll be right back after these student-produced PSAs.
Stop! Did you know college debt is the second largest type of consumer debt in the U.S.? Why? Because the required interest paid on student loans causes you to give more than you receive. So why not prevent taking out student loans altogether? Learning how to manage your money is a great way to solve that problem, and there are many tips online to get you that head start. Don't wait until you're drowning in debt. Make college affordable now.
Coronavirus, speed round, go. What is the coronavirus?
The coronavirus is a respiratory virus that affects 96 million people.
Oh, how many people has it killed?
Currently, about 2 million people.
Whoa, really? That's about 150,000 people every day since it started.
And about 5,000 people per day.
Crazy! How many of those people are Americans?
About 400,000.
How are we working to solve this issue?
Well, there are a few vaccines being made to combat this virus.
And these can possibly save us from the virus?
Well, of course. Take one. Save a life.
Texting and driving, honestly, it's not that worth it. Put your phone down.
Hey, welcome back to GHS Insider. While not all clubs are active this year, there are a dozen or so that are holding virtual meetings and events. Let's get an update with Dylan Stevenson in today's Club Chat.
Hey Tonice, you're right. We do have a few clubs with announcements this month, so let's get right to them. First up, the Anime Club will meet 2 times in April. The Tenoshi meeting is on April 9th, and the Golden Week Party will be on April 30th. The Entrepreneur Club is a new organization here at GHS. Members meet once a week to discuss all things entrepreneurship, from investing in stocks to personal branding and starting a business. If you would like to join, email the club's founder, Jared Howell, or the club's sponsors, Mr. Collins and Mrs. Thomas. Another new club is now up and running. For Goodness Cake is a club for those who love to bake. If you are interested in becoming a member, email Renaya Martin to be added to the school's GroupMe. Finally, a huge shout out to junior Jordan Nance. He competed in the extemporaneous speaking competition at this year's Skills USA State Conference. He had to give a speech about an assigned topic with only 5 minutes of preparation. Jordan was also recommended to receive a scholarship from the Home Builders Institute. So, congrats. Nearly 10 months after wrapping up the spring musical, GHS thespians finally got to flex their acting muscles again. GHS Insider reporter Kristen Blake shows us how the theater department showcased student talent at this year's acting festival.
I want to talk to you about live. It's just too difficult to be alive, isn't it?
Listen, I'm not stupid. I know that I should be thankful.
The Germantown High School Acting Festival looked a little different this year. Students took to the screens to perform.
I can see that, man, but what do you specialize in?
With it being in virtual now, I feel like we made the most of what we had. It came out really good, and it was better than I anticipated.
Every year, acting students prepare monologues and duets, then work with local theater professionals to perfect their pieces.
Excellent work, Nadia.
I think it's always good for an actor, especially a beginning actor, to learn from different people.
Don't act it out. Just get the words out of your mouth as quickly as you can.
Different people bring different perspectives to their work.
So I'd love to see you right now just like walking forward and you get blocked.
It was a very encouraging and helpful experience when it comes to me improving in my acting skills.
You ain't never done nothing but hold me back. And any opportunity to get in front of an audience, no matter what size, and perform is a wonderful growing experience.
This year, with the help of Microsoft Teams, the virtual event went off without a hitch.
Even though it's not the same thing, I still got to work on my skills.
I think that was the biggest thing, is remembering that even though we're all virtual, we're still connecting in this way. And you have to engage with that fully.
For students, the Acting Festival provided an outlet in a world of anxiety and isolation.
The Acting Festival really helped me kind of be comfortable where I am. It kind of gave me the mental confidence that I'm doing the right thing.
You just can't
not answer a question like the one he asked me.
To have the acting festival really, I feel like quenched that hunger to act because we were really passionate and really happy to do it. And we really were satisfied with the experience.
I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you guys.
Reporting for GHS Insider, I'm Kristen Blake.
Now it's time for a pop quiz. In 1896, the Olympic Games, a long-lost Greek tradition, was reborn in what place after being forbidden for 1,500 years by Roman Emperor Theodosius I? Was it A, Athens, Greece, B, Rome, Italy, or C, Munich, Germany? Visit our GHS-TV Instagram to find out the answer. And while you're there, be sure to follow us. We're going to switch gears now because there's a lot going on in the world of GHS sports. Here's Maricus Lambert with the latest.
Hey GHS sports fans, Red Devil Sports are back, finally! Baseball, soccer, softball, tennis, and track teams have all started their seasons, just weeks after SCS announced spring sports would resume, something we all are happy about. I caught up with athletic director and assistant principal, Mr. Waddell, to find out how athletes are staying safe and what we can expect from our Red Devils.
Set, go! Yes, sir!
Mr. Waddell, thank you for talking with me. What was your reaction when you heard spring sports were coming back?
I was ecstatic for the kids. These folks are doing spring sports. They lost an entire season last year. All of our sports, fall sports lost an entire season. Winter sports lost an entire season. So just having the opportunity for everybody to be out here and compete again feels great for these kids. I'm really excited for them.
How did athletes and parents react to the news?
Some were a little apprehensive. Some had a lot of questions, which is very understandable. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. COVID's hit different families in different sorts of ways. But overall, the parents, the kids were extremely excited and ready to get back to it. Our coaches have been planning for this day for a long time and we're ready to go.
What I really want to do today is I want to push us today, all right? Today is going to be our last day to kind of get in shape.
What are some protocols coaches are taking to keep players safe?
That's a great question. So just like we do for students who are entering the buildings, all of our athletes are going to go through a temperature check. Also COVID screening questions. We also have plenty of hand sanitizer and wipes out here. We're going to try and socially distance as much as possible. But of course, when you actually start getting into competition activity, you can't always do that. But our coaches are going to take as much precaution as they can.
And what happens when a player tests positive for COVID?
Luckily it hadn't happened yet. Hopefully it won't happen all season. In the event it does, we'll treat it just like we do with a positive test we have here at school. That student will be reported to Shelby County Schools. The school system has its own tracing team. That tracing team then will tell us how to proceed.
With some schools that Germantown usually plays not participating in the season, how hard was it to schedule games?
Again, another great question. Scheduling has been challenging to an extent. Some of the municipal schools and also some of the private schools already had schedules fully established. Luckily, a lot of our sports, such as baseball and softball, have been communicating with those coaches throughout this and already had a schedule set up. There are some teams that aren't playing within Shelby County Schools, but the vast majority are fielding teams.
And are teams playing a full schedule, or will it be a short season?
No, they are playing a full schedule. In fact, the TSSAA allows competition for spring sports starting this Monday, March 15th. And most of our teams are ready to go.
Now, here's a question a lot of parents and students want to know the answer to. Will fans be allowed at sporting events?
Fans will be allowed. TSSAA right now is allowing us to fill that one-third capacity. So when our fans enter, they can expect to have their own temperature screen. They themselves will go through a COVID questionnaire, and there will be social distancing markers throughout our complexes to make sure they keep their distance as well.
Finally, how are fall sports looking? Will they be back in full?
That is a question for Shelby County Schools. I've been told they'll discuss it starting in April. Our hope is that, of course, we will. Hopefully we'll know more here in about a month.
I want to thank Mr. Waddell for talking with me, and we wish athletes lots of luck in their seasons. One team who didn't have a season is the varsity football team. Coach Robinson and his staff worked hard to ensure seniors got as many scholarship offers as possible, and the work paid off. Athletes committed to play at Tennessee State University and Lake Forest College, among others. Senior TJ Tate is excited to play at Pittsburgh State in the fall, and he hopes the rising senior players will continue to lead by example.
A lot of guys around me look up to me as a leader, so my biggest thing is, to keep everyone up and excited and, try to get everyone to rally together and stay together and keep doing what they're doing.
Congratulations to the seniors who committed to play football next year. Now, Coach Robinson is looking to the future, and the future looks bright with quarterback Malik Young and defensive back Cody Jones leading the Red Devils next year.
We're excited, and we can't wait to hear, let's go out for spring football, let's go make this happen, because we're excited. We want to bring that passion, that spirit, that fun right back to the Germantown community. We want to do things that have never been done before.
Mark your calendars, Red Devils. The 2021 season kicks off August 21st at Christian Brothers High School. That's your look at the world of sports. Tanice, back to you.
A GHS senior is encouraging students to enjoy the art of reading through 2 books she wrote. Her efforts are getting local attention. Can you guess who it is? Here's Maya Mitchell with today's Who's Who.
Thanks, Ternice. I'm here with Alexa Morris, GHS senior, author, and literacy advocate. Alexa, it's great to talk to you virtually.
Thank you for having me, Maya.
Tell us about your grassroots campaign to close the literacy gap for Black and Brown children.
Well, really, this campaign is to get sign language into schools, into grades K through 3, and sign language is known to increase reading scores for students, and it's really for school boards to regularly review and revise their literacy curriculums so that students will always be learning accurate literacy practices.
Did the pandemic affect your campaign at all?
Well, I actually created the entire campaign in the pandemic, so I don't really know anything outside of it, but I know that when the pandemic lifts, then I'll have more freedom. I'll be able to travel more places. I'll be able to maybe get like a pop-up shop somewhere for literacy, for books to deliver them. So yeah.
You've also released 2 books, From a Black Girl to All Girls, Volumes 1 and 2. How did the books complement your literacy campaign?
The books complement my literacy campaign because the first book is about poems and monologues. Poems really help you express yourself, and they really allow students to adventure into many other literacy practices that they wouldn't have. And the second one is a really take action type book where it gives different tasks that people can do so that they can see how they can make literacy better for other students across the nation.
Alexa, thanks for talking with me today. Best of luck to you and your new book. That's it from Who's Who. Back to you, Ternice.
If you want to learn more about Alexa's literacy campaign or purchase a book, head to her website, alexachristian.com. That's all for us here at GHS Insider. We hope you enjoyed the show. As we leave you, we want to give you a little something extra. So here's a clip of singer Caitlin Poindexter's original music video, Numb. Enjoy.
Ran out of love, do I start it all again? Just take it with a grain of sin. Don't wanna be left behind in the fray. So I build up my walls, destructive machinery. Need more than a change of scenery. Open my eyes as it all drifts away. And I walk all alone, die another day. One deep breath is all it takes. Just wanna care, but still nothing's there. Face is a canvas, but not for the beauty. Sullen and blank as the artist who drew me. Lyrics may change, but the song stays the same. 'Cause I feel numb, cold as ice.